My dear friends, Zankar Educational Series welcomes you. Let's enjoy learning Mathematics Part 2. Chapter 1. Basic Concepts in Geometry. Dear students, you know about a point, a line and plane also. These are some basic concepts in geometry. We do not define these basic concepts. Lines and planes are sets of points, and remember, when we say line, the word is used in the sense straight line. Now coordinates of points and distance. Here you can see a number line. The point D on the number line denotes the number 1. So it is said that 1 is the coordinate of point D. We can find distance with the help of coordinates of points. To find the distance between 2 points, consider their coordinates and subtract the smaller coordinate from the larger. Remember, the distance between two distinct points is always a positive number. Now the question. Find the distances with the help of number line given below. Distance BE. The coordinate of point B is 2 and the coordinate of point E is 5. 5 is greater than 2, therefore distance BE is equal to 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. Then distance PC. The coordinate of point P is minus 4 and coordinate of point C is 3. 3 is greater than minus 4 and therefore distance PC is equal to 3 minus 4 is equal to 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. Next question. If the coordinate of A is x and that of B is y, find distance AB. Here x is equal to 6 and y is equal to minus 2. The coordinate of point A is 6 and coordinate of point B is minus 2. 6 is greater than minus 2. Therefore, distance AB is equal to 6 minus 2 is equal to 6 plus 2 is equal to 8. Now let's see about betweenness. If P, Q, R are three distinct collinear points, there are three possibilities. Point Q is between P and R. Second possibility. Point R is between P and Q. And the third possibility, point P is between R and Q. If distance PQ plus distance QR is equal to distance PR, then it is said that point Q is between P and R. The betweenness is shown as P dash Q dash R. Now the question. From the information given here, find which of the point is between the other two. If the points are not collinear, state so. First one, distance AB is equal to 16, distance CA is equal to 9, distance BC is equal to 7. Here, distance AB is equal to 16, distance BC plus distance CA is equal to 7 plus 9 is equal to 16. Therefore, distance BC plus distance CA is equal to distance AB from 1 and 2. And therefore, point C is in between point B and point A. Therefore, B dash C dash A or A dash C dash B. Next is distance LM is equal to 11, distance MN is equal to 12, distance NL is equal to 8. Here, distance MN is equal to 12, 1. Distance LM plus distance NL is equal to 11 plus 8, that is equal to 19. 2. Therefore, distance LM plus distance NL is not equal to distance MN from 1 and 2, and therefore, point L is not between point M and N. Same thing can be shown in case of point M and point N, and therefore, none of the points L, M and N are between other two points, and therefore points L, M and N are non-collinear. Next question, sketch proper figure and write the answer of the following question. If R-S-T and length ST is equal to 3.7, length RS is equal to 2.5, then length RT is equal to question mark. Here R-S-T, distance RS plus distance ST is equal to distance RT. Therefore 2.5 plus 3.7 is equal to distance RT. Therefore distance RT is equal to 6.2. Therefore length RT is equal to 6.2. Now let's describe a segment, a ray and a line as sets of points. First one, line segment. The union set of point A, point B and points between A and B is called segment AB. It is written as seg AB in brief. Seg AB means seg BA. Point A and point B are called the endpoints of seg AB. The distance between the endpoints of a segment is called the length of the segment. That is, length AB is equal to distance AB. Then ray AB. Suppose A and B are two distinct points. The union set of all points on seg AB and the points P such that A-B-P is called ray AB. Here point A is called the end point of ray AB. Then line AB. The union set of points on ray AB and opposite ray of ray AB is called line AB. The set of points of seg AB is a subset of points of line AB. Then congruent segments. If the length of two segments is equal, then the two segments are congruent. If length AB is equal to length CD, then seg AB congruent seg CD. Then properties of congruent segments. First, reflexivity. Seg AB congruent seg AB. Symmetry. If seg AB congruent seg CD, then seg CD congruent seg AB. Transitivity. If seg AB congruent seg CD and seg CD congruent seg EF, then seg AB congruent seg EF. Then midpoint of a segment. If A-M-B and seg AM congruent seg MB, then M is called the midpoint of seg AB. Remember, every segment has one and only one midpoint. Then comparison of segments. If length of seg AB is less than the length of seg CD, it is written as seg AB less than seg CD or seg CD greater than seg AB. Then perpendicularity of segments or rays. If the lines containing two segments, two rays, or a ray and a segment are perpendicular to each other, then the two segments, two rays, or the segment and the ray are said to be perpendicular to each other. Here, seg AB perpendicular line CD. Seg AB perpendicular seg CD. Then distance of a point from a line. If seg CD is perpendicular line AB and the point D lies on line AB, then the length of seg CD is called the distance of point C from line AB. The point D is called the foot of the perpendicular. Now the question, write the answers to the following questions with reference to the figure. Write the name of the opposite ray of ray RP. Ray RS or ray RT. Write the intersection set of ray PQ and ray RP. Ray PQ. Write the union set of ray PQ and ray QR. Seg QR. State the rays of which seg QR is a subset. Ray QR, ray RQ, ray SQ, ray TQ, ray QS, ray QT. Write the pair of opposite rays with common endpoint R. Ray RQ and ray RT. Ray RS and ray RP. Ray RS and ray RQ. Write any two rays with common endpoint S. Ray SR, ray ST. Write the intersection set of ray SP and ray ST. Point S. Now about conditional statements and converse. The statements which can be written in the if-then form are called conditional statements. The part of the statement following if is called antecedent and the part following then is called the consequent. The statement can be written in the conditional form as if the given quadrilateral is a rhombus, then its diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. If the antecedent and consequent in a given conditional statement are interchanged, the resulting statement is called the converse of the given statement. If a conditional statement is true, its converse is not necessarily true. For example, the conditional statement is if a quadrilateral is a rhombus, then its diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. The converse is if the diagonals of a quadrilateral are perpendicular bisectors of each other, then it is a rhombus. In this example, the statement and its converse are true. Now consider this example. The conditional statement is if a number is a prime number, then it is even or odd. Converse, if a number is even or odd, then it is a prime number. Here the statement is true, but the converse is false. Now about the proofs. Greek mathematician Euclid took for granted some self-evident geometrical statements which were accepted by all and called the postulates. He showed that on the basis of the postulates, some more properties can be proved logically. The properties proved logically are called theorems. These are some of the Euclid's postulates. First, there are infinite lines passing through a point. 2. There is one and only one line passing through 2 points. 3. A circle of given radius can be drawn taking any point as its center. 4. All right angles are congruent with each other. 5. If two interior angles form on one side of a transversal of two lines add up to less than 2 right angles, then the lines produced in that direction intersect each other. The logical argument made to prove a theorem is called its proof. When we are going to prove that a conditional statement is true, its antecedent is called given part and the consequent is called the part to be proved. There are two types of proofs, direct and indirect. Indirect proof. This type of proof starts with an assumption that the consequence is false. Using it and the properties accepted earlier, we start arguing step by step and reach a conclusion. The conclusion is contradictory with the antecedent or a property which is already accepted. Hence, the assumption that the consequent is false goes wrong. So, it is accepted that the consequent is true. For example, the statement is a prime number greater than 2 is odd. Conditional statement. If P is a prime number greater than 2, then it is odd. Given P is a prime number greater than 2, that is 1 and P are the only divisors of P. To prove P is an odd number. Proof. Let us suppose that P is not an odd number. So, P is an even number. Therefore, a divisor of P is 2. Statement 1. But it is given that P is a prime number greater than 2 given. Therefore, 1 and P are the only divisors of P. Statement 2. Statements 1 and 2 are contradictory. Therefore, the assumption that P is not odd is false. This proves that a prime number greater than 2 is odd. Now the question. Write the following statement in if-then form. The diagonals of a rectangle are congruent. If the quadrilateral is a rectangle, then the diagonals are congruent. Now write the converse of the following statement. The alternate angles formed by two parallel lines and their transversal are congruent. If the alternate angles formed by two lines and their transversal are congruent, then the two lines are parallel lines. Next question. Write the antecedent, that is given part, and the consequent, that is part to be proved, in the given statement. The statement is, if all sides of a triangle are congruent, then its all angles are congruent. Given in triangle ABC, side AB, congruent side BC, congruent side AC. To prove angle A, congruent angle B, congruent angle C. Next, draw a label figure showing information in the following statement and write the antecedent and the consequent. If angles in a linear pair are congruent, then each of them is a right angle. Given angle ABC and angle DBC are angles in a linear pair and angle ABC congruent angle DBC. To prove angle ABC is equal to 90 degrees and angle DBC is equal to 90 degrees.